Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hiba.
And I'm Zaid,
You're listening to Diary of a Matchmaker.
a podcast that will take you into our world as matchmakers.
We'll share our experiences and offer advice for the single Muslim.
So let's dive in.
Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another episode. My name is Zaid and on the other mic is my wife and co-host Hiba.
That's me. Assalamu alaikum.
I feel that the idea of getting married at an early age is becoming old-fashioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Something that we saw in our parents, even though I know your parents got married at a later stage in life, but my parents got married at a relatively young age.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, just from talking to people, talking to parents, and constantly hearing the same thing, finish your education, it just seems like people are just, the norm is now get married in your late 20s, early 30s, right?
Yeah, the economy has a big part in it.
Yeah.
But also it's just parents, societal pressure.
Yeah. The pressure to finish your education,
yeah,
that is.
this idea of success, achievements, reaching high
Financial stability,
being in high positions and all of that.
And that's coming at the price of marriage.
That's coming, yeah, because you want to make a lot of money because we turned into this super consumer society.
Yeah.
And to obtain that lifestyle, you need to make a lot of money.
Yeah. So when did we get married? I got married, how old was I, 34?
Yeah.
And you were 30.
30, yeah.
Yeah. But I was, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I started my search in my mid-20s. So alhamdulillah, I was putting in the work. But you've mentioned that one of your regrets was starting your search late.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I would use the word search because I didn't know I was supposed to search. Like I said before, coming from an Arab background, you don't search as a girl. You just wait for things to happen to you, right?
Right.
So I wasn't aware that there are options out there.
So that was kind of quote unquote your way of being proactive. So you're being proactive without being proactive, basically. So
there's honestly, there's nothing a girl can do.
Right.
But do I regret it? Do I wish I got married earlier? Yes, 100%. But do I regret it? No.
Do you regret not putting in the work earlier?
If I knew I had options, I would have put in the work 100%.
Right,
yeah, but I just didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know if using the word missed out on my prime years is the right word here. Because, alhamdulillah, we are still young. We did things when we were younger. It's not that we were sitting around. But I 100% wish I got married earlier.
So this brings me to my next point, which is where we're seeing most of our success as matchmakers. Alhamdulillah, a lot of our matches have moved on to marriage. In fact, a very recent one is quickly moving towards marriage.
Alhamdulillah.
And we've looked back and tried to analyze the data, I guess, and see what's going on. Are there any patterns? And the thing that stands out to us most is that the people that are finding the most success through our service are people who are below the age of 30. And the clients who are over 30 are the ones that are giving us the hardest time.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is that we'll have a double date, and in most cases the double date will be successful, meaning that both the matches will say, yes, I want to move forward. And we release contact information, and then after a week, maybe a month, in some cases it was even just a matter of days, both clients will come back to us saying, oh, can you find somebody else? It didn't work out. And let's try to use a specific example. I think there was one match that where the double date was successful, and then the client came back to us saying that, it didn't work out because our timelines didn't match. And we were a bit surprised because, at least the way I see it, you can make small compromises and sacrifices to make sure your timelines match up, to make sure they align, right?
Right.
Or what was another one?
Well, there was a case where the guy didn't actually connect with the girl. She didn't connect with him. They were both waiting for each other, for the other person to make the first move. And
Yeah.
then it just fell apart.
Yeah. And keep in mind, these are all cases where the clients are above the age of 30.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make a blanket statement, but based on what we're seeing as matchmakers, that people who are that are finding the most success through our service, that are moving on to getting married, are people who are young, who are have a flexible mindset, who aren't fixed in their ways, who are receptive to feedback. And it seems like the older people are getting, and the more rigid and inflexible they are, and the more difficult it becomes to match them.
Which is strange because I would have assumed that it's going to be the other way around. The older you get, the more compromising you become, the more flexible, and the easier it would be to find a spouse, right? But it's honestly the other way around.
I thought the same thing too. And we were thinking about changing our service to make it more geared towards older professionals, people who are in the mid 30s. But the numbers were just so clear to us that people who are under the age of 30 are just so much easier to work with. And we decided that demographic should be our focus.
Yeah, I have my theory. I think that like once you get to a certain age and you achieve some things, whether that's achieved some level of success in your career or financial success, then you start feeling like, okay, I worked hard for this. Now I'm here. Why would I give it away? Why would I compromise on this? Why would I just for marriage? So people get stuck in their ways.
And you know what that reminds me of?
What?
The 3 stages of marriage.
Right.
What stage are you describing? Reasonable.
Reasonable.
Right?
Yes.
I've achieved a certain level of success, hence I deserve this.
Right. So actually the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim that like من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج. الباءة covers like getting married, like the financial aspects of marriage. So whoever has the financial means to get married, because it would be more secure and stable for your desires and for your eyes, to protect your eyes and your desires.
What does man istata'a mean?
Man istata'a, whoever is able.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
whoever is able. And subhanallah, like living here in the West, you can't deny it. You know, you can't say, no, I'm a guy. I'm just not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about like, I don't have the desires and I don't have,
Right.
no.
Don't live under a rock.
It's a fitra, like it's a fitra Allah put in you as a guy and as a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes it much easier living in the East. Actually, you do need a companion.
Yeah.
It just makes life much more stable.
Yeah, regardless of age. In fact, we just had an uncle reach out to us, a much older uncle in his 60s. Reach out to us saying, hey, can you help me find a companion? So it doesn't matter what age you are, you know, that need, that fitra, it remains with you.
Yeah. And if you do get married young, then you get the advantage of growing with this person. As in, like, I don't know, maybe you're still pursuing your education. So you get to experience that with a companion.
Right.
You get
Everyone
to
needs to find emotional support.
Yeah. Like there is something beautiful in having a companion throughout the multiple stages of your life. Mm-hmm. As opposed to getting married after you have achieved everything else, and now it's like a
checkbox.
A checkbox, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, when like you do get married young, then you have the luxury of waiting a few years before having children, right? Mm-hmm. So it comes with a lot of advantages.
Yeah, and like we said in our workshops, we've mentioned this, and I think we've said this in previous episodes, that marriage does not have to come at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
Getting married early does not have to come at the cost of your education, doesn't have to come at the cost of your career. And I'm speaking specifically, especially to the girls.
Actually, we
Right.
were just having a conversation with
Yeah.
two young, very lovely young girls, and we mentioned the topic of marriage. They're family friends. We
Yeah.
mentioned the topic of marriage, and they're like, no, I need to finish my education or at least be like halfway through university because I'm afraid that the guy will prevent me from continuing my education, right?
Yeah. And as a disclaimer to girls, you can put that as a condition on your nikah contract
Yeah.
that the guy has to support you through your education
Or has to allow you to finish your
or allow you to
education.
finish
Yeah.
your education.
Yeah.
So there are ways around that. I mean, the first step is assessing compatibility and seeing whether or not the guy has that supportive mindset. But yeah, inshallah, if you're young and you're listening to this, we hope that you start exploring the idea of marriage, start that conversation with your parents.
Yeah.
If you're a parent and you have a child that's 19, 20, we hope that you start that conversation with your children.
Because it takes time. So
It does.
even if you're like 22 right now and you start looking now, it might take a year or 2 years or 3 years to find the right person.
Yeah.
And then it's going to take time to like assess the compatibility and all of those steps that come before marriage.
Yeah.
So yeah, take advantage of your prime years. It is a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
There is a movement actually in the Christian community where they also don't have premarital sex, and they advocate for young marriages. I was
Mhm.
following a YouTuber,
Mhm.
Canadian YouTuber, and she and her now husband, they got married. I think she was like 19 and he was 20 or something. They're white Canadians, and they had their 4 children before they turned 25, and like they're advocating for family values, for conservative values. So
Mhm.
it's not just a Muslim thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So on a side note, what are the struggles one would face when they're trying to get married at an older age?
So we kind of already mentioned this, where we said, you become more inflexible the older you get, and that's naturally going to carry over into your selection process, right? Because you're going to become more picky.
No, but let's say somebody is open, is like doesn't have strict requirements. They're still gonna face challenges trying to get married. Let's say they are 37 or so.
Right. Well, to be quite frank, whether you're a guy or a girl, you're less sought after at an older age.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just creating more difficulties upon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain level of stigma that comes, especially if you're a girl that's 37. I mean, guys are naturally going to be thinking about children. They don't want to feel pressure and rushed into having children, which was actually one of the reasons one match didn't work out, because the girl was much older and he was concerned about having children. So there's multiple challenges that come the more you delay marriage.
I think that also, like if you seek marriage at that age, and let's say you are a guy, then there's gonna be high expectations from you, financial expectations, because you are established, you are successful, right?
Mhm.
So the expectations are gonna match that level. But if you get married at a younger age, you're still in your early 20s. Well, the father of the girl realizes you're still in school, or you're still, I don't know, looking for a job. So his expectations, financial expectations and demands and requirements are going to be more reasonable.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're going to make it easier upon yourself if you're pursuing marriage at a younger age.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you have your health to enjoy marriage at that age.
Mm-hmm.
You have the advantage of having children younger to enjoy those their young years. When you're still young, you can still run after them and all of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But this doesn't mean that if you are older, you're not going to get married. Just like we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, I was 30, Zaid was 34.
Yeah.
What we're saying here, that be proactive. Whether you're young or you're old, be proactive. Take the first step.
Yeah. Ultimately, your marriage is written by Allah. So whether you get married at 25, 35, you can't change qadar.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is just put in the work.
Yeah.
And leave the rest up to Allah.
Yeah.
And with that in mind,
we leave you here.
we'll leave you here.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Thumbs up, 5 stars, and
Hopefully fan mail.
fan mail. Anything. Help us grow this, guys. Help us grow it and reach more people. And we appreciate it.
Yeah. If you're on Apple Podcasts, I believe there's a way you can leave a comment.
Yeah, you can leave comments on Apple Podcasts, and you can rate it. Also on Spotify, you can rate it. If you heard something that resonated with you, do send it to that one friend you think will benefit from it. Share it and help us spread the word. Until next episode, inshallah.
Next episode.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.